Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about once a man understands this, everything changes with women forever. Okay? So what this all comes down to is this. Once you understand this, things will change with women forever. And that is, you don't need to be romantic. Now, what I mean by romantic in this sense is you don't need to buy her flowers. You don't need to send her good morning texts every morning, okay? You don't need to write her love letters. You don't need to send her a playlist of songs that remind you of her. You don't need to do any of these things. You don't need to do any of these big romantic things. You don't need to buy her chocolates. You don't actually have to buy her anything, okay? Especially when you first start dating. You don't need to spend anything if you really don't want to. So you don't need to be romantic. You don't need those intense romantic sort of things, sort of like Romeo and Juliet sort of romance, extravaganza type thing. You don't need that. You don't need Jack from Titanic energy or anything like that. All you need then is this. You just need to get her to feel positive emotions when she's around you. And you do that by, so the emotions that you're trying to aim for are, you want her to feel joy around you, you want her to feel laughter, that's not really emotion, but you want her to laugh, have a good time, and maybe even a bit of excitement in there, right? You just want her to feel positive emotions so she'll want to spend more time with you. Because a lot of guys think that they need to do certain things like big romantic gestures in order for a woman to want to spend more time with them. But what it really comes down to is if you want a woman to spend more time with you, if you want her to feel that and you want her to be like, oh, I want to spend more time with him, then what you need to do is make her feel good when you're around her. So that means making her laugh, making her feel joy, all those really positive emotions. Because sometimes what can happen is actually romantic feelings can often cause negative emotions. And what I mean by that is that sometimes by doing a big romantic gesture, it can make things very serious, like buying her flowers. Maybe you write her a love letter that's, very seriously romantic. It brings seriousness into it, okay? And often that can be more of a negative emotion. It can be a negative vibe, or at least a neutral vibe. It doesn't necessarily bring, laughter and joy into it, So you want to focus more on those really uplifting emotions. And what's more uplifting than laughing, having a silly time together? What's more uplifting than that? Just having fun and enjoying each other's company and having a laugh and having a good time and just being silly. You see? So that's what you need to focus on. Forget the romance thing. Forget the big grand gestures or even little gestures like buying her trinkets and things. You don't have to do those things. You don't have to get so serious with the romancing of the women. The romancing of the women. That should be, that'll be my second book. The romancing of the women. Right? You don't have to focus on that. Right? Actually having fun and having a silly time is very, very romantic, and it brings out those positive emotions, and that's what you want it to do. You want her to associate more positive feelings with you than negative, and one of the best ways that you can do that is through laughter and silliness. Okay, and maybe a bit of excitement, like if you do something a little bit naughty, right? It could be that I know, for example, let's just say that you're doing like a little bit of window shopping and you go inside a shop, and let's say like there's like a toy alarm in there, and and then you basically just set it off and then you just run out the shop, something like that, just something a bit silly, a bit like kind of like your kids again. That kind of thing. That's the kind of energy that you want to bring to it. That's just an example. There could be many things that you could do that, could elicit that kind of emotion and silliness. Okay. And that tiny bit of thrill and excitement by doing something a little bit naughty, but it's not illegal, together. Yeah, it could be, when it comes to excitement, it could be that when you're getting more comfortable with each other, you just, make out or do the dirty in a place that you really shouldn't be, or something like that, It's just bringing that excitement and that thrill a little bit to it. and the fact that you're being funny and you're having a silly time together and you're just having a laugh, it's just like great. It's just the best kind of vibe that you could elicit and make happen and facilitate when you're on a date with a woman, and that will make her want to spend more time with you. Okay, because it's fun to be around you. You make things fun. Okay, because you could be doing the most boring thing. Like, let's say you go out for a walk. Okay, this is one of the things that I did with my wife when I first met her. We met out for a walk and we just did laps around the park. But so you could be doing the most boring and mundane thing, but if you know how to make things fun, if you know how to make her laugh, but just using the environment around you, right? So one of the things that I did with my wife is, if there's like a cute little dog or something like that, I would give it like a little theme tune. Like, I remember there was like a little Jack Russell, and he was, because you know, like Jack Russells kind of have like, because their legs are so short, they're so little, they kind of like, when they're walking, they even have to walk really fast because they're just so small. And I just started singing like the Indiana Jones theme. I was like, to like this little dog that was just like walking, over like a few yards away or whatever it was. And it was funny, it was sweet, and it was, it's just bringing that sort of like silliness to whatever it is that you're doing. And that mine was just like just pointing out dogs and giving them a little theme tune, just by the way that they sort of was walking and the way that they looked. It's just one of those things, right? And it just makes women laugh more. It makes them feel more comfortable around you as well. Because what you got to realize is that it takes women a while to warm up to men, just purely because of the stranger danger thing that's drilled into little girls ever since they were little. I know it's drilled into boys too, but it's drilled into women and little girls quite often as well. Maybe a little bit more so. Maybe it needs to be drummed into little boys even more as well. Maybe we focus too much on girls, and little boys need just as much protection, really. But because women, when they grow up, they're more vulnerable around men, just because men are generally bigger, generally stronger. We are sort of, most of the time, at the mercy of men, because women are more vulnerable. Obviously, living in a society where there's like CCTV cameras and other people, and it is safer. But still, if we end up alone with a man who doesn't know what no means, it's dangerous. It's dangerous for women, okay? So it takes a while for a woman to warm up to a man, okay? And the best way that she can feel safe around you is by the fact that she can tell that you know how to joke, you know how to play, you know how to laugh and have a good time. Because, usually women get hurt by men who are a little bit on the the psychopathic side, right? Men who are those kinds of dangerous men, right? And one of the things that those men don't generally have, is a good sense of humor, right? Because they're dangerous men, okay? And they're very sort of like forceful and creepy, and there's just something off about those men that are dangerous, right? So women are looking out for that. But if you know how to make her laugh and you've got a good sense of humor, then she knows that you're most likely safe, because you don't have that weird creepy energy, that weird pushy energy that these guys have, those dangerous men have. So if you know how to relax and just being funny and silly and having fun, then she knows that you're safe, because like I said, those men don't tend to have those things. The weirdos and the creeps and the stalkers and the horrible men, right? So if you know how to make her laugh and make her feel good and make her feel at ease by being silly and fun and playful, right, then she is going to warm up to you quicker and fall in love with you quicker, okay? So don't be so serious about things. You don't have to be overly romantic with women, okay? Just be silly, just be fun, just get her to laugh, just act like you're two little kids, and just have a great time, okay? Of course, you're going to go on dates. You might go on dates with women that don't quite check with the vibe that you've got, which is fine. You just know that that's not the woman for you. Perhaps she does need someone who's a little bit more serious, or perhaps she just doesn't find your sense of humor funny, which is good that she's rejected you, or she's not showing as much interest, because you obviously need to find a woman who is on the same level as you, right? Who has the same kind of humor as you, has the same kind of attitude as you, so you can get on well with each other, because life is already really tough, and and the worst thing that you can do to make your life more difficult is to be with a woman who makes things more difficult, right? So it's always a good idea to be with a woman who's on the same wavelength as you. So that's why it's a good idea to always be throwing humor in there and being silly and playful, because you want to know, can we have fun together? Can we have a good time together? Because I want to be with someone who I can have a good time with. And if I can't have a good time with you, then what's the point, right? If I'm going to be spending, if that's your goal, if I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with you, then I want to make sure that I've got not just a teammate, but I've got a playmate too, a good companion, someone I can have a laugh with, you know. So that's what you got to focus on, okay? Once you understand that, everything will change with women, and it'll change the way that you see dating. It will change the way that women will see you as well, and it'll make women warm up to you more, and they'll fall in love with you faster, and you'll just have a way better time of it. And yes, if you go on a date with a woman and it doesn't quite work out because you're not quite on the same vibe level, then just let her go. Okay, you don't need to focus on that woman anymore. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like more tips, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, click on the menu, and you can find my dating book. And they'll give you some more tips and tricks if you would like to know those. You don't have to log into the website, you don't have to sign up, there's no confusing landing page. Just go to the menu on the website and click on the book. It's like literally called the book. It literally says that, and it'll just take you right there. And if you like coaching with me, then you can go to www.christineloveridge.com, same website that the book's on, and just click on whichever coaching option works best for you at this current time. But it's not necessary, because the book's there and I can guide you through everything you need to know. And also I've got a wealth of good library and catalogue of videos on here on YouTube that you can always go through as well. Okay, so it's not necessary to get coaching with me. So only if you really feel like you need help with a specific situation, but it's not necessary. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then you know what to do. Just go to www.christineloveridge.com, get some coaching. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.